Now, I'd like to explain the 21 days rule. Goods delivered to customer or service rendered to customer and non-refundable deposits from customer will become taxable income in 21 days even if the business owner did not issue an invoice. We're going to use 3 different scenarios to explain this rule. The first scenario is a simple, straightforward one. The DO is issued in the 1st of March and this will be referred by custom as the basic tax point. Exactly 21 days later, an invoice is issued on the 22nd of March. Invoice in March, GST return in March. The second scenario is also simple and straightforward. DO is issued on the 11th of March and therefore 21 days exact will be 1st of April, invoice is issued. Invoice in April, GST return also will be in April. The third scenario will become more complex. DO is issued in 11th of March, but the business owner did not issue an invoice when it's supposed to be. From the custom point of view, because there is no invoice date to refer to, they will go back to the basic tax point of the DO date for tax calculation purposes. Because DO now is in March, no invoice, therefore the GST return will be in March. SQL account solution will comply to custom in these rules as well. Again, invoice in March, GST return in March. Invoice in April, GST return in April. But no invoice in April, then refer to the DO, and therefore DO in March, GST return in March. SQL account will give client 2 options. Option 1, we will generate a DO listing for all the DOs that is 21 days or more without an invoice. It will be giving you a listing and this listing will convert to an invoice automatically. Some software will be able to do this, but SQL account will do more than this by giving client an option 2. Option 2 basically is that we will use the DO or the non-refundable deposit even without an invoice and generate tax in order to comply to 21 days rule. The reason we give client an option 2 is because some industry will not be able to generate an invoice immediately within 21 days. Example, a travel agency, a restaurant, or those companies that generate a lot of deposits, collect a lot of deposit without generating invoice. Let's say a wedding dinner will be held in next year, 13-14 months later, and will the restaurant generate an invoice today? No, they do not, because even if they do, the wedding couple will not pay for the full invoice and the restaurant will have to bear the full invoice tax. So they normally will collect just a smaller deposit, and in this case only calculate tax from the deposits. So no invoice is issued until much later, way after 21 days. Another example is the courier service. They will go to your office and collect parcels and letters. But do they issue invoice every day? In fact, do they even issue invoice on the 15th of the day of the month? No, they do not. They always issue invoice beginning of next month. So for these companies, it is not possible or not practical to comply to the 21 days rule. Finally, for companies that is short in human resources, they can only issue DO in time, but they can never issue the invoice in time within 21 days. For these businesses, in order to comply to the GST rule, then they need to calculate tax from DO rather than from invoice.